This is the Headbanger's Almanac. Welcome to the Headbangers Almanac. My name is Will. I consider myself a metalhead, but I missed a lot of shit growing up. So I'm going back through heavy metal history, listening to every album ever released, ever. Without further ado, let's delve into the metal archives. Today we're looking at the Flower Travellin Band with the album Anywhere. It was released October 21st, 1970. It contains 6 tracks. It's 47 minutes long, 37 seconds. Now, prior to this, Yuya Yakita, and I'm probably butchering the name, has a band called Yuya Yakita and the Flowers. They released an album called Challenge that had nude members on the front cover, much like you see over here, only they're just standing in a field. And it was full of cover songs, like Western bands. It had some Jimi Hendrix on there. I thought I saw a Cream cover on there as well. But a lot of Western bands that he was interested in bringing over to Japan to kind of bring that kind of music over to a Japanese audience. So they released this album. They released an album in 1969. Afterwards, he wanted to kind of broaden the range of the band. And he blows it up, basically the whole band, and starts up this Flower Travellin Band. Kind of takes a back seat role. He's a manager and producer for this album, and then gets 4 guys together to actually do the actual album. I think he keeps 1 member from the his previous band. They're still naked on cover. And it's still full of cover songs. There's 4 of them, and it's kind of bookended by 2 bluesy 1-minute pieces. There's like one at the beginning and one at the end, just called Anywhere. So and it's weird because they add 3 minutes to the song, which Black Sabbath isn't a terribly long song, but it's got a slower tempo, so it definitely makes it feel longer than what it actually is. And they went ahead and added 3 minutes onto it, so this thing's almost topping out at like 9 minutes long, which is crazy. The lyrics are slightly out of sync, and when I say that, like, so Ozzy would sing the lyric, "Turn around quick and start to run," but when Joe sings it, it's "Turn around quick and I start to run." Ozzy's lyric is "Find out I'm the chosen one," and then in Joe's version, it's "Find out that I'm the chosen one." And it's not a huge difference, but it just throws off the whole pace of the song. So they have to wait a whole nother series of chords to get to the next lyric, which just extends the song astronomically. Like, I'm not a patient person, and we'll find that out. That 8 minutes is probably my cap when it comes to a song. Building a playlist specifically, but just in general, like, unless you have a real reason that I need to stick around for 16, 17 minutes, I'm usually tapping out at 8 minutes. And it's just, I started out with like the rule of Freebird, where Freebird I think is like 9 minutes and 3 seconds. And I thought, yep, that's how long you need to have the perfect song. And then, even Stairway is like just over 8 minutes long. I went down to like Unleash the Archers Has Awakening, and that's probably one of my favorite songs. 7 minutes and 37 seconds or 47 seconds. And so I was like, okay, that's the perfect length. But then Death Magnetic is a perfect album. Not a perfect album, but it's a pretty fucking good album. We'll get there. But all the Metallica songs on Death Magnetic are longer than 7 minutes and 30 seconds long anyways. So it's like, I couldn't win. So I brought it up to 8 minutes. I think that's the happy medium. It's just a lot. It feels way longer than it needs to be, but I'm kind of glad, and we'll get into that too. So about the pacing there, there's a singer-songwriter and comedian, Jay Foreman. He has this vid about singing out of sync. Like, the joke is, doe, a deer, female deer. And then by the time he started singing, he was just like one syllable off. So he's got a couple of songs that he sings one syllable off. And it's like hilarity ensues, tee hee hee, right? And that's not terrible. It's just it's jarring. It's very jarring when you hear it, and they're just minor notes that I hear that I'm just like, why are we still back here? When you start realizing the way this band operates, they improvise a lot musically, and then kind of lyrics are like an afterthought. In Satori, he doesn't have a lot of lyrics because they are improvising the music sections, and so he's just fitting lyrics as they'll go in there. It's not like a major thing. They just added in as like an afterthought. And the guy's got a great voice. So I guess that's the point that I want to drive home, is that all of these covers are horribly long. They're Louisiana Blues, which is a Muddy Rivers cover. The song is 2 minutes and 54 seconds, but the cover is 15 minutes and 54 seconds. House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, 4 minutes 31 seconds. This version, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. We have 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson, 6 minutes 41 seconds. Their version is 13 and a half minutes long. It's so crazy how long these songs are, but that's where the magic happens. It's not when they're trying to cover the song themselves. It's all that playful, jammy stuff that comes when they're not playing the song. And again, we get to hear that in the next album. So it's like a little glimpse of like, when I was talking to Raph about this, bands put out cover albums because they want you to see that they're capable and that they can play these well-known songs and stuff. Here's a band that is literally utilizing, yes, I'm playing Black Sabbath, but here's 7 minutes of not Black Sabbath that we're just fucking jamming out. And we can do this all by ourselves on the next album, which is what they do. So the score is not going to reflect the positive light that I'm trying to shine here. And that's because largely, again, the album is not for me. There are great moments in this album, and I did have fun listening to it. At the beginning, I was out. Like I wasn't having any of it. And by the end of the week, I'm like, I can see, like, I'm looking forward to the next album because I know we're not going to get 14-minute songs, hopefully all the way through. I know there's a couple long ones in there, but we're not going to get 14-minute songs all the way down. And I get to see the band shine for their own music, which is great. So the score is definitely not going to reflect the high marks that I'm giving it. The singing ability, the musicianship. I wish I could speak. I gave it a 1.67 because there's not really any songs that I particularly love. This is an album that if it came on, I wouldn't turn it, obviously, because I could be like, oh, is this fucking that cover album from Flower Travellin Band? But it's not going on a playlist. And again, I'm not like telling somebody that they have to hear any versions of these songs over the original or any other covers that are out there, but it's good. I don't want to give them a 0 because it's good music, and I am definitely looking forward to the next album. So, in our scale, a 4 and a 5 is like a really either a solid album or a perfect album. A 3 is still a really good album. 2 is respectable, and then 1's kind of just, it exists. But I did put this on the upper side of the 1 side. It's 1.67. Which again, don't let that deter you from giving it a try. If you're into that jammy, long stuff that I don't want to call it progression because it's not really prog rock. To me, it doesn't feel like it, but just very jammy songs that the 13-minute long solos that you look forward to of just a guitar speaking to you. People are into that. I'm not. And I think this album would be great for those kinds of people. But those are the highlights of the album for sure. Not the covers themselves. but the ability that they have within and the singing voice, you know, that guy is hitting the notes that he needs to and stuff. And I can't wait to hear original stuff from them. So I'll link Jay Foreman down in the description along with the podcast. But yeah, have fun.